Here we go.
You're live and in color.
In living color.
Well, greetings and salutations. I'm not going to sit here and be quiet until it shows that somebody's in there, because there's probably already somebody in there.
Don't you just love it when you go to drink your drink and
You drink.
and it brings forth some... Can I have that real quick so that I
what?
can... My phone so that I can share this out while
While we're waiting.
waiting.
Yeah.
But,
April's here. Hello, April.
man, I thought she was dead.
No, she's not
I
dead.
haven't seen her in forever.
She just temporarily didn't love us anymore.
Oh, is that what that was?
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Okay, so I want to know how many of you guys saw the last long video that went out. Because I'm very curious about what you guys thought about that. Because, because in that video we talked about subsoil, and subsoil is not something that gets talked about really at all on any of the gardening channels, on any of the homesteading channels.
Right.
And that's something that gets overlooked a lot.
Well, it definitely does, because we've been doing this for how many years, and it's the first we've heard of it.
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and also eat my smash burger on the live stream with our homemade flatbread. Well, I will not.
No, I just had to work late last Monday.
And the Monday before that.
Yep. I don't know. Okay.
And so, trying to bring everybody up to date, but I was really hoping more people would get in here quicker.
Yeah, sometimes it takes a
They
minute.
said 5 people are in
Did
there.
I miss another? I think you did. I don't remember what it was,
I
though.
missed a whole bunch of them. There will be flogging.
Plenty of flogging. But, anyway.
But this is the homemade flatbread.
Looks like an omelet.
Doesn't
kind
it?
of. It kind of does.
This is a smash burger. How many calories is this?
Oh. Right off the top of my head, I don't know. You're supposed to get 2 of them, so.
With the homemade Thousand Island sauce with the sugar-free ketchup that we showed you guys last week. Well, Miona.
Looks like eggs. That's because it's eggs and cream cottage cheese mixed together. So it's got the color. But it does have kind of the consistency of flatbread. The reason why we didn't, it's not completely solidified right now is because we literally pulled it out of the oven and then had to hurry up and make. Like, normally you let it sit for a little bit.
Arthur?
I know. Who's this crazy guy?
What did it say? I'm here, but what?
Be right back. I'm getting some ice cream. Be right back.
Oh.
That's alright.
But when we get the fitness channel
Up and running.
up and running, we're going to show you guys how to make this. This has become kind of a staple here for me.
Well, it's so that you can have bread but not have bread.
It's definitely great for those who have gluten allergy.
Trying to remember. This one's not telling me. There it is. Yeah, so 179 calories for the whole flatbread. So by the time you get done eating, because you'll have 3 of them, So 179 plus.
Y'all, I'm starving. I'm sorry.
Haven't even eaten mine yet.
Well, stop playing around.
Oh.
Naturally and see what's going on.
Look at that.
Hey, D, you're gonna want to look at that. That's my flatbread.
She probably already does it. I
that
wouldn't
we
be
made.
surprised if she doesn't already do it.
High protein flatbread, but you know what? This is a homestead channel, so we gotta stick to homestead.
Yeah, so 149 times 3, 150, so 450, 550, 600. So you're
Just for
probably
one.
no 600, 900, about 300 calories per sandwich.
And to put that in perspective for you. And this will probably be one of the last things that we talk about fitness-wise tonight. You can burn 200 calories in 30
minutes.
30 minutes on a treadmill, walking at the speed of 3.2 and no elevation. Now you elevate it to 1.5 and take your speed up
a little
to
bit. Yep.
3.6, and you can burn to 300 calories in a little bit.
Yep.
Over 30 minutes.
Yep. Very good. I opt for the tortilla because I don't eat as many as Jason does. I'll probably only have the one.
I may only have this one.
So the calories on it's not going to kill me. And the carbs, I don't eat anything else with carbs all day. So 3.2 is running for me with my short legs.
Who said that?
Deanna. I bet April probably feels the same way. And April's kind of short too, isn't she?
I'm so glad you asked me that when my mouth was full. Okay, so as many of y'all know, I know the members know, we have a huge opportunity in front of us.
Ooh. Ooh.
What?
I forgot I put jalapenos in those burgers.
One of my classmates from high school, she's trying this homesteading thing, and well, just like what happened to us and probably happened to most of us out there, I know it happened here.
2020. Happened to us.
Her pig breeding got out of control. She didn't separate the males. She didn't castrate males. Well, now she's overrun, and they are a Mangalitsa and what was the other one? Kunekune cross.
Which has got to be a funky looking pig. I'm just going to say that right now.
And she wants out of them. And so she's giving us the entire herd. We're probably looking at well over probably 30 pigs, because I think 17 of them are piglets. And so what we're doing, we're sharing this blessing. We have 2, possibly 3 families that we're hooking up with that they are going to, because I have 3 young females of mine left, the Hampshire, Berkshire. And so they're each going to get one of those females. And then one of the females that are the Kunekune Mangalitsa cross, and then one of the males. Now we also have been blessed with 12 more piglets of our own. And so what we may do is not castrate a couple of those males that are piglets from her and pair them up with 2 female piglets from mine.
Right. We're going to figure out the breeding so
Yeah.
that we can keep everything diverse.
Yeah. And so then that way no real bloodlines get crossed,
Mm-hmm.
and then we can, after a couple of cycles, take male piglets and swap them between the three.
Right.
And I think that will help us completely keep our bloodline going strong. And plus, because one of the guys also has a Yorkshire female.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to get some Yorkshire in there as well. Mm-hmm. And so that's really going to clean up the bloodline. Mm-hmm. And I think that will sustain each family for
indefinitely.
Yeah. I don't want to say indefinitely, but I want to, we're at least 10, 15, 20 plus years. Now that's probably almost indefinitely for Robin and I, because Robin's very old now because she just had a birthday, and so she's going to be.
Yeah, because I'm the one that's almost 50.
Because she's going to be getting a walker real soon. We'll probably start a GoFundMe for the tennis balls that need to go on the bottom of her walker, so that way she doesn't.
You're so
she
mean.
doesn't scuff up the floor.
Mm-hmm.
So.
As if Lagatha hasn't already done that.
Lagatha wouldn't leave little black marks all over the floor. She scratched the tar fire out of it. She wouldn't.
Hey, we are not old.
And so my buddy Jay, who's one of the guys that's going to be participating in this project with crossbreeding all these different breeds, because you got a Yorkshire. Lynx and them have a Yorkshire Hampshire cross. We have Hampshire Berkshire crosses, and the pigs that we're getting are going to be.
No, Yorkshire's not a Yorkshire Hampshire. It's a Yorkshire Duroc mix. Pretty sure is what she told me.
Okay, I thought I was.
Yeah,
Anyway.
it's something we don't have, so which is even better because.
That's what I said.
Mm-hmm.
And then the Kuna and Mangalitsa crosses. So we are going to have a very mudblood pig breed, but we may actually stumble across something that actually may be a better breed for foodies and for homesteaders. Hopefully we'll be able to keep the marbling from the Mangalitsas, keep the longness from the Yorkshire, and I think the marbling will stay, because the Berkshire from ours marbles. The Duroc, if it's Duroc, is supposed to marble. The Hampshire, Hampshire, and the Yorkshire should give us the longness.
Yes.
Right, and so we may stumble across. I think we're in a situation just like how the broilers came about. We may be stumbling into a new breed of pig that will be better all the way around for everybody. Because if it marbles better, I mean, we may get just a phenomenal slab of bacon, especially if we can keep that Yorkshire belly. Now we may have to go out and find a full-blood Yorkshire female later on, or a full Yorkshire male to help keep that longness.
Correct me if I'm wrong, though. Aren't Mangalitsas a little longer, too? I feel like they are. They're a little
long
longer.
in the snout.
No, okay.
Not like you, that's long in the tooth.
But I was going to say, we should call them, like, Kunalitsas.
Call people old, and they were long in the tooth.
We call them Kunalitsas. Or we could call them Mangy Kunas.
Just don't call them Condoleezza.
Condoleezas. But yeah, I'm pretty sure the mango, because I'm trying to think of the ones that Jess had. I feel like they were a little bit longer. But definitely not Yorkshire longer. Like, those are by far, I mean, that's what they use in the commercial setting. So, for that reason.
And so I'm very excited. My buddy Jay went and fetched a whole bunch of pallets. Brought them, Saturday? Late Saturday.
Saturday morning. Before we went to the
gym. And then we had superheroes on Saturday.
Yep.
And then, of course, Sunday, we don't do anything around here on Sunday. That's the Lord's Day.
Right.
We go to church, we serve at the church, and we come home and we just kind of veg, get our day of rest.
Which we most definitely needed this week.
And then today, it was a nasty day. It was raining most of the day today. Like, we came home from the gym, I was getting ready to get in the ice bath, and it started raining. I got in the ice bath. I wasn't in there but maybe 2 minutes, and all of a sudden here come the thunder and lightning, and I'm like, I gotta get my booty out of this
Get
water.
outside. Yep.
And because I knew the girls wanted to get dumped too. They wanted to jump in it as well. And so I got out, Dessa ran out there, and she got in the ice bath. I don't know if you or Carol did. But I mean, we had a pretty doozy of a storm.
I was reminiscing. This was our first lunch meal today, where we were eating mostly, like, pretty much everything was from the farm or bartered. Like, the fish came from Luke, and then we ate eggplant and okra fries. What'd you think of the eggplant fries?
I didn't even know I had eggplant fries. I was hungry.
Yeah, so instead of...
I thought it was all okra fries, and I was like, oh, I guess this one got a... So the eggplant ones must have been the ones that were limpy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Those were actually better than the okra fries.
The okra fries just got overcooked. If they hadn't been overcooked, they'd have been good.
And because I like the eggplant ones. I'm not a big fan of the okra fries like you are.
Well...
You keep trying to make me a fan, but I'm really not.
Well... You're the minority in the house because everybody else fights over them. So, I guess
maybe you should make me okra nuggets and just cut them in the circle and then season them up that way.
Okay.
Because I don't like the long. I always feel like I'm just chewing on wood.
I think a couple of those were kind of woody, but on the end.
I mean, I knew I was getting my fiber. You know, so, but...
That was part of the reason why I put it in there, because I was like, well, let me sneak in some fiber here. But...
Yeah. Which reminds me, I gotta take my fiber.
But it was really good. You know, it's funny, we've come up with a couple of different ways to eat okra because we've had so much. And I was sitting in church yesterday talking to a couple of the ladies there, and they were talking about how, you know, I don't know if everybody else has had this, but here... Our okra plants for the longest time were just about knee tall.
Yeah,
and that was it. And then the rain came, and now they're up.
Now they're about my
shoulders.
They're about my chest height, maybe a little bit around my neck. And it seemed like it happened overnight.
It did, yeah, just about.
Because it's like we went past them and this is one of the things that when Sunday, when you take a whole day off and you go down the driveway early because you're on the safety team in the church. And then you come back from church, and you're like zonked because you basically walked almost 10,000 steps in church. And you go to going to the gym the next morning, you're not really paying attention, and you come back from the gym and you're like, "Hello, okra."
Yeah.
They got uber tall.
Yeah, they were tall on side because once we started getting all this rain, they just, you know, they're growing. And but what was crazy to me was that even when they were short, they were throwing okra. I mean, we were getting okra. The plants were just not very tall. But now that we've had this good saturating rain, because we've been watering, but
we've gotten some.
You can't really
soaking.
Yeah, you can't really compete with the rains that we've been getting, and so what's happened is everything has shot up overnight.
Now look, you guys still have plans. Like plenty of time if you're in our zone around us. You may be a little shy on some things, but like pumpkins, get those pumpkins in.
We had to, well, you might be at this point, you might be a little.
Get those squashes in.
The squash, you most definitely can. Cucumbers.
Get cucumbers. Get more beans in.
Yep.
You know, one of the things that, we have to, look, when you're homesteading, you got to be super gumpy. You've got to always be flexible. Mm-hmm. Like around our area, everybody that got their corn in early, like they have no crop.
Because the weather was nice at the beginning, remember?
Because, the weather was nice, and then all of a sudden we hit this awful heat wave. Like, what did we get? Hundreds, 105?
Yeah, and it was early in the season.
Yeah, it was super early, and then we went through a mini drought. Mm-hmm. Where we were struggling to get the ground done with everything that we were doing, because we had to we were working with Stack to get the stuff out here, but it was so hot. And look, y'all, those cicadas, I thank the Lord I couldn't hear them at that time because my ears were all jacked up. But the girls and Robin, they couldn't go outside but maybe for 30 minutes before those cicadas, they were screaming so loud that they would get headaches. And so we couldn't do any filming because we tried, and you couldn't. The microphone that we have was from right here is our microphone right now, right here. Pow pow. We were closer than that, and the cicadas that were up in the trees still overpowered me talking.
It was really loud.
Like I told Robin, because we were going to try to put a couple videos out. I said, don't. I said, because if I was watching it, I'd have turned it off 5 minutes ago, and you're only 2 minutes into the video.
Yep.
Because it was overly annoying. But we were blessed because we got our corn in late. And we caught the back end of the drought with them, but we were watering. We made the decision that, it's probably going to make our power bill go up a little bit. Power bill versus food, And so if I had to pay an extra $10 for my power bill because I was pumping the water out of my well, then so be it. And we would water at night. Starting about what time we start? About 9:30. And Robin had it divided into sections, and then each section would get 15 or 30 minutes of just straight watering. But now, when we went past, we've got ears on there, some of them about that long. And so I'm very excited to see how the sweet corn does, and then the dent corn. Robin planted a behemoth amount of dent corn this year because she loves me, and we're just gonna keep it real. She knows she can't live without me because I am amazing. And she is just like, oh, I just love my husband. My husband is the best, and I gotta do everything for him. And so she knows I have this allergy or aggravation when it comes to either the bleach or gluten. So she overly planted the dent corn in order to make more cornmeal.
And also feed corn. It's the same thing that's feed corn.
Yeah. And so I am super...
Thank you, Henry.
Super excited to see how those puppies turn out.
Well, what was interesting with the feed or with the corn, everybody always says the knee high by July, 4th of July. But we have been, I have been trying to stick to this planting guide that the UGA Extension Office has put out. And so far, it has been spot on. They say that you can plant corn until June 1st. And we literally got it in like Memorial Day weekend. Like we were pushing it. And we may have even, the last part, we may have put in like June 2nd or something. Like it was right at that cusp. And everybody that I've been talking to, like a lot of people had to just pull their corn because it just dried out. It was so dry, it was dead. Like they got nothing. But ours, the one thing I will change next year is when we grew them, when they got to a certain point, they were, because we thought they were going to be short too. And then they got to about knee high and we were like, okay, that's cool. Well, we started watering and our sprinkler is on a tripod. And so right now, if we had it running, it would be hitting just the stalks. And that's kind of what was happening. I should have been overwatching that a little bit more because Ladessa would just run out there and move it from plot to plot. But as the plants got a little bit taller, we should have dropped that tripod down lower, because what I believe was happening, because with the amount of water we were putting on there, we really should have seen more growth than we had. And I think it's because that water was hitting those stalks, and so the water wasn't really distributing as well as it could have. So I think next year when we do that, well, first of all, next year we won't be waiting until June to plant corn.
Also, hopefully, I would like to try to figure out a way to take it to where we're running a bigot spigot that is hitting the top of the leaves, and maybe make our own micro irrigation system that we can run tiny little like soaker hoses around the corn, just soaker hoses, weaving them in and out of the stalks or whatever, and just be able to go out there and turn it on, and then the entire garden gets watered at one time.
And then the other thing that I think we will definitely do different is we have 35 squares that are 17 by 17 feet. And so what we will do next year, my plan, is we will plant a row of the 5 squares. We'll do corn, sunflowers, okra, like whatever. And then the following week, or maybe we'll do 2 squares, 2 rows of squares. We'll do pumpkin or squash, tomato, whatever, peppers, and we'll do those too. And then the next week we'll do the same thing, or in 2 weeks do the same thing, because I want to. One thing that I've found that's working really well is that we didn't plant all that corn at the same time.
No, we did not.
We planted the first part of the corn, and so I'm saying June 1st. It was probably the middle of May was that first row, and then the June 1st was that last bit. And so what I'm finding is that by having 2 separate plantings of that we're still in good timing, because we spaced them out. So if some of these people had planted some early and then waited till the end of the window and planted again, something we fell victim to, we planted our squash and our squash got tore up.
Yeah, it got
but
killed.
Not just with the vine borers, but the heat. It was ridiculous. And so nothing. But now we have another wave to where we can plant squash. Now the borers are gone. We can plant again and have a whole nother option at, a harvest. And the same thing, we're doing that with the cucumbers right now. We have a whole new group of cucumbers coming up. Plants are starting to come up.
We may be on the precipice where planting times for things are going to change.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And it's one of those things that we have to play by ear, or like next year, I think January, February, we're going to start peppers and tomatoes, and we're going to start a crap ton of them in the house. And we're going to roll the dice, because both of those do, in the beginning stages, they do better in heat, especially peppers. And so if we get hot again early next year, then we should have, we have a good crop of different peppers now. But we should have just an abundant of them next year by just making that simple change.
Well, and the flip side of that is even if it doesn't get hot, it's not gonna matter.
Right.
It's not gonna hurt them if it doesn't get hot. They'll stall out a little bit. They just won't grow like crazy, and they'll wait until it gets hot.
And we may, and what we're probably gonna do is dial back our squash in the beginning. Maybe just have 2-3 plants, so that way if they get hammered again, we won't be devastated, or or put ourselves in a financial pickle because we
planted so
planted
much.
most of our seeds that we're saving.
Yeah.
And then when it comes, this time of year, last couple weeks in July, that's when we'll throw a whole bunch of the squash plants out there along with the pumpkins.
Pumpkins you have to have in by July 1st.
Yeah.
But now here's the other kicker. I've got to get on this like right away, like this week. I have to start Brussels sprouts and broccoli and cauliflower and cabbage. Like, it's time to start doing that, and that's one of the things we've been doing is we gotta look at how much longer we got on this corn, because before you know it, it's gonna be time to start putting out Brussels sprouts. Like, I think our Brussels sprouts, what did I tell you? How many seeds did we get? Because I plan on.
Look, you got me spoiled that one year that you did really well with the Brussels sprouts, and I'm like, well, you better be able to duplicate this, because going out there and picking. Look, I love lettuce greens. I love them to death. They're one of my favorite veg. I love them 10 times as much
when they're fresh,
or 100 times as much as when she just goes out and plucks a bunch of them off of the fresh off the stalk and comes in and cooks them up with some of our butter and garlic.
Yep.
And I ain't gonna lie, I'll eat the bottom out of them.
Yeah.
Same way with the broccoli. Now look, and here's another thing: homegrown broccoli, I don't get as much gas. Cauliflower, I love it. We got to get that in the ground. But our cabbage is a must, because we make our own sauerkraut.
Yeah.
And fermented foods are uber important for your gut health.
Especially during the winter, I feel like, like the cabbages, like that. Sauerkraut is a pretty important thing to have over the winter time. I think it helps keep you healthy, and, because it kind of turns in almost like a vinegar base, and so I can only imagine that that's good to ward off. I bet it's antibacterial in some fashion, that it probably helps you stay kind of away from all of the sicknesses that go around during the winter time. But the cabbages, Brussels sprouts, broccoli, cauliflower. I even want, now that we have things set up the way that we do out in the big garden, I want to go. So some of the things that we've been getting some stuff from Baker Creek. But some of the stuff that I wanted like a lot of, we've been going to our feed and seed. So like the corn, we got from there. But I want to get collards and some mustard seed. I want to get, a good bit of that, so that we can just have a full, like, just cut and go. Because, Swiss chard and all that, you can cut it, it'll keep growing. And so that's kind of, the idea is to be able to go on those squares and just kind of plant a huge carpet of it, and just kind of go through and cut as we need it. And the way that those grow, if they don't come back or they come back too slowly, we can just till it all under and plant it again. Any future plans for the high tunnel greenhouse?
I don't know if you want to let that out yet or not.
We don't know
We
yet.
don't know.
We don't know yet. I went and filled out all the paperwork for NRCS. And if you've never been down to your local extension office, to the USDA office to look and see what NRCS has available, you would be surprised. There are so many different programs that they have. They have one that we're kind of like, we're not really sure. It's, what did I tell you? It's pollinator program.
Mm-hmm.
But you have to dedicate, like, what did I say? An acre?
Yeah.
I think it's a half acre or an acre that you plant wildflowers. And it's like a 15, I think the lady said it's like a 15 seed mix. And it's meant to, the 15 different things have been picked based on the fact that you'll flower all year. And so they'll pay for you to clear out an area and plant, that 15 seed mix for all of the different pollinators. So that was another one I was excited about. But they've got cross fencing and water and soil testing, like all kinds of stuff. So definitely, if you haven't done that and you have the capacity to be able to have some of that stuff, I would definitely recommend going and checking out your local NRCS office, and do it soon, because they're a government agency, and so their fiscal year ends in October. So you got to get all of your application stuff in before October. See, I've been wanting to do this for probably 5 or 6 years. But every year we get busy during the summer, and then all of a sudden it's October and I've forgotten to go down and fill out the paperwork. So this year...
That's a true fact, by the way.
This year I went down there and I filled everything out, and they're supposed to come back here, and we'll film that when they come. They're supposed to come and kind of survey the land and see what all programs we qualify for and what things we could benefit from. And then they'll put all of those specific applications in, and then they go through that process. And I think she told me like January, February, they start letting people know who gets what. So we'll
fingers
see.
crossed that we get them all.
Yeah. Henry said, hopefully you guys have better luck this time with Baker Creek seed. We have. I planted a lot of seed from them. One of the things, well, all of that the cucumber is dragon eggs, I think, and China Jades.
I love dragon
and I think they're all coming up. The corn, we planted some popping corn. If you've been around to us a little bit, you'll know that we planted some blue corn.
What's up, Windswept?
One year, and just by accident. It was so funny. Do you remember how that happened? We had planted it all in the front.
It all up here, and it did not. The popping corn, it comes up with like a different stalk. I think it doesn't get as fat, and it doesn't get as tall.
Yeah.
And so we thought it was just an utter failure.
We thought it would just.
And
bombed.
so we just left it be.
We just left it alone.
And it all dried out, and so it was time to clean up
Pull
that area.
everything out.
And then I saw these little tiny ears. They were about like that big on there, and I started pulling them, and that was just full.
They're like, there's corn in here.
Yeah, full of. We had the strawberry red, the blue one,
then the
purple,
blue one, the black one. Mm-hmm. It was crazy.
And so it was all dry, just the way it was supposed to be.
Mm-hmm.
And we brought it in, and we ringed it off the cob.
Mm-hmm.
And I looked at Robin. I said, "Let's give it a go."
Yeah, see if it pops.
And then we made that short.
Yeah. Popping the popcorn.
You guys saw that it popped.
Yeah. So we ordered some red, some blue, and some black. I planted it out in the raised beds so that it was separate from all the corn over there, so it doesn't cross-pollinate. And 2 of the 3 beds have corn stalks in them. The one bed that is closest to where our chickens are, we have a couple of chickens that I am waging war on now, including my beloved Snowball. He might end up being a chicken nugget after all if I see him pull another tomato off of my plants. I'm gonna kill him. He's gonna be KFC special. But we they got in that bed and scratched. They loved the soil that's in there, and so they were scratching around in it, and all of the corn in that one bed is gone. So I've got 2 beds with corn stalks in them. Hopefully it will be enough. We only planted enough to be able to save seed. We don't plan on popping any of it, because there's quite a few seeds in one ear. And the other cool thing that's nice about the popping corn is that you usually get more than just 1 or 2 ears. Like you may get...
No, you only got about 2 ears off on them.
Okay. I don't know. That's just like... Have you seen some of the sunflowers that are out there?
No, I leave your sunflowers
On the sunflowers, some of them, like, they open up and there's like 6 buds, like, all coming out. And so there's like all these flowers, like, everywhere. And I'm like...
And I bet the ones that you guys went out there and cut the heads off,
Mm-hmm.
they're probably making more heads.
Oh, I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah.
Not sure. KFC bowl with chicken, corn, and potatoes. Amen.
Okay, so I want to switch gears for a second. I just posted a link in the Big Bear Nation Facebook page. I came across this off of Instagram, and I was just thumbing through reels. This is absolutely disgusting. This is absolutely horrible. And for the longest time, America, we have been feeding our children this stuff. And we have to stop. When you get a second, go check it out. Definitely tell me what you think in the comments. We participated in an experiment once with a quarter-pounder cheese meal from McDonald's, and it finally got thrown away in 6 months, 6 to 8 months, or maybe he did a whole year.
It was longer than a year because I remember it being like they had like elections. Because he had done it like in November, and then like the following November we had elections, and I remember he still had it.
Yeah.
But yeah,
no, it was a quarter pounder, large fry, and I think it was a medium Coke that he bought. In a year's time frame, the cup that the Coke was in broke down and it started to leak. Mm-hmm. The Coke went flat, but other than that, it didn't get moldy. It didn't get nasty. The burger never changed. It looked like it just
deflated. Yeah.
Was in the refrigerator.
It deflated a little bit, but it was still like there's nothing growing on it. Yeah, there was no
nothing. And the fries just got like cold fries. Mm-hmm. The packaging for both of those broke down more than the food. Mm-hmm. And so that's why I do not find that post that I shared too far off.
Too hard to believe.
Base.
Yeah.
I honestly believe it.
Yeah.
And another one of the ones that I came across is Japan is the only country that bettered its economy and not its citizens or its nation did not become obese and unhealthy. Because in Japan, and I'm a witness to this, I lived in Okinawa for 2 years. I've been to Okinawa and mainland. The children walk to school in the morning and walk home They go in shifts. They're not allowed to bring their lunch. Everything is fresh made at the school. Boom, boom, boom. You know, a lot of your Eastern countries do that. So it's one of those things that we've got to do better. We all know the food system was broken. We've heard us. You guys heard us talk about it. You've heard Jess talk about it. You've heard a lot of people talk about it. Joel Salatin and everybody. But I don't think we realized to the level of how broken it really is until you start being honest with yourself and you start looking in the mirror and you're like, where did this come from? And so we have some hard decisions to make and hard habits to break.
I think we've been doing a really good job. I think you're talking we as in general, not we as in us.
Yeah,
personal.
we as in
right.
as in general.
I think we've been doing an excellent
Yeah,
job. We were talking about this before, is that there's just like how, you know, I've harped on this before with essential oils, that, you know, pharmaceutical companies copied the effects of natural stuff in order to create the pills and the drugs that we have right now. And I firmly believe that the natural foods that we have been copied and manipulated and doctored to look like the natural food, but it's not. Yeah. You know, it's full of MSG, it's full of sodium, it's all this other stuff. And so I think if you can look at something and strip it down and go, okay, what can I make that's going to be the healthy alternative of that? And like one of the things we tripped on was we started making our own yogurt, and I don't like runny yogurt, so we started making Greek yogurt, which essentially is just getting all the whey out of it.
Get all the way of the yogurt.
Get all the way out. And we bought some fruit, and the girls cut up some fruit and whipped it all into the yogurt and froze it. And I won't eat regular ice cream ever again.
Yeah.
The flavor is so much better, so like richer, more pure, that it just, totally different.
Well, if you can remember when you were a kid, depending on when you were born in the 70s, you may not remember, but in the 70s they came out and they were like, cholesterol,
yes.
cholesterol.
Yes.
And they started dogging eggs. And they started dogging butter, and they started dogging all of these different fats that we need. And at the same time as they started dogging them, the lard started to disappear off the shelf, the Crisco's and them, and started to get replaced with
vegetable oil, canola oil, peanut oil.
And high fructose corn syrup, and all these other additives that were coming up. But at the same time, since that time frame, obesity in this country has gone through the roof. Childhood obesity has gone through the roof. Heart disease has gone through the roof. Diabetes has gone through the roof. Strokes have gone through the roof. And it was sometimes, it was always the biggest joke when we were growing up. Oh, eggs are bad this week. Nope. Oh, eggs are good this week. Oh, no, eggs are bad this week. And it would go back and forth. You have to... How do I put this? There's no money in healthy people. The medical field now makes more money than anything. pharmaceuticals make more money than anything off of us being unhealthy.
Insurance companies too.
So, here's the reality of the situation. God does not care about money. Everything God put on this planet is for your benefit, is for your health and your well-being. When man got involved and started manipulating some of it, that's why some of it, the GMOs and all of the junk that the Roundup ready crap, that's the reason why people are having gluten allergies, the reason why kids are having peanut allergies, the stuff that they're washing your meat with. Go look it up, the USDA website, the stuff that's authorized to be able to clean your meat. It'll make you sick thinking about it. And that's why our food system is not only broken, but unhealthy. You look at this little monkey right here that stuck her head in the door. Right here. She got the shots that she needed to be able to get out of the hospital. And she's been, for the most part, eating everything out on God's green earth. Whatever she learned, her and her sister learned how to forage. They love eating the fresh stuff out of the garden. They drink raw milk. They eat raw butter. They eat raw yogurt. They, all their meats are coming from this farm, this homestead. And yeah, they get sick occasionally. That's inevitable. But when COVID came through this house, it didn't put anybody in the hospital. And we got it before we knew what COVID was.
Now, it kicked our butt, don't get me wrong. But we kicked its butt with fire cider.
And we didn't have to get any vaccines or anything like that. If we get COVID now, we don't even know it.
I'm pretty sure it's what Carol had on Sunday. The watered down version, like what it is now, what it's mutated into now, because she just self-isolated around, her room, and it was fine. It was just cold.
And there's been many doctors, many of scientists, many of people that have told you your immune system, your health starts in your gut. And so the better that we take care of our gut, the more healthy that we're going to be. There is a podcast out there that I want y'all to go and listen to. It's Dr. Pharmacy. He has a podcast, or he has an episode about eating your way, or eating, how did he word it? Eating to cure Alzheimer's, or eating to prevent Alzheimer's, something along those lines. America is the only nation, the only country that still refers to it as Alzheimer's or dementia. You know what everybody else refers to it as? Diabetes type 3. Because of them studying that disease, they learned what causes it. But is the media covering any of that? Are you being informed of any of that? No. Why? Because the puppeteers want to keep getting your dollars to keep getting you sick, because they want you to keep having to buy insulin, or they want you to keep having to buy this pill or that pill. Go listen to him. Now look, they use big medical terms and stuff, but then they kind of common man bring it down also. But that was a really good episode. He's got an episode about eggs where he kind of goes on this rant. So he is all about, and he was a neurologist, right?
I think so.
Yeah. And he's wrote a couple of books, like The Grain Brain, I think it was called, or something like that. And
I want to listen to him. He was around. He was making content long before COVID, and so I imagine he had a lot to say about stuff while all of that was going down. And we started with his oldest episodes and just started kind of plowing through them. And he's got some really good content. Make you think a little bit.
Yeah, make you think a lot of it.
Lone Star says, if the doctors got you well, they'd be broke. If the politicians solved the country's problems, they'd be out of a job. It's all a show.
Yep. And so, look, we have to take care of ourselves, because at the end of the day, all they're going to do is lie and manipulate and deceive to have their game plan. If you think I'm just making stuff up, or if I'm BSing or pulling your chain or trying to fearmonger or something like that, go look at the last couple of presidents and then dig in to see who their biggest contributors were to their campaigns. And then look at the policies that they tried to shove down our throats. Obamacare, electric cars. And we have to start, I'm a firm believer. One of the comedians somewhere, I forget which one it was, said that politicians should be made to wear those jumpsuits.
Robin Williams.
Like NASCAR.
Yeah.
And
Robin
it should
Williams.
be everybody who has donated to their campaign, any company,
Yep.
you should have to wear them.
Yep, that was Robin Williams.
I think it was in that Dr. Pharmacy that Monsanto has contributed more than like $15 billion to different campaigns, to different politicians, to be able to keep moving their agenda. So that way, it started out with them patenting a seed. And now if one of those seeds get on your property, you can be held liable for it growing.
I'm going to go ahead. I finally found that link for that podcast, that particular one about the Alzheimer's.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go ahead and put that in
The Big Bear Nation.
the Big Bear Nation, so that if you want to look at it, you can take a listen.
Yeah. And look, I know it seems like all of a sudden Robin and Jason are on this big health kick. We're these gym rats. We're these, we're talking about obesity a lot, and we're talking about eating right, and talking about this. Look, and it comes from that we had a little bit of a scare is not the right word, because there was more anger and frustration in what happened to me than anything. And this is just another prime example of how I think that health professionals, there's few and far between doctors that give a rat's butt about you. Most of them, you are just a number to be able to turn into an insurance company for them to be able to collect a paycheck. Whether you're on Obamacare, the VA, private insurance, whatever, paying out of pocket. All they care about is getting that money. They don't care about looking at root causes, and they may not even actually sit down and actually look and read your labs. Every time I go in for a primary care appointment at the VA, this is what happened. This is what got us where we are today, that got us really looking at things, researching things, and putting verbs in our sentences, and we really started acting out. Acting out, not like a 3-year-old acting out. I'm acting out.
Taking action.
Taking action. Yeah, there you go. The VA, I had what I thought was a really good primary care doctor. Well, they snatched him away because they wanted to promote him or something without any warning, any thing. We show up for appointment. Oh, we got to reschedule because he's not in this group anymore. And then it took them another 7-8 months to reschedule, and they finally got another doctor. It was a younger guy. I kind of liked him. He smiled a little bit too much for me, but I felt like he was being a straight shooter. And
he wasn't trying to question anything that,
we
knew had been working for years. He wasn't going to come in there and be like, yeah, this looks sus. We're going to just do something different. You know, he didn't do any of that. So that was good.
Did you just say sus?
Uh-huh. I sure did. I've been hanging around my girls too long.
We got to get you out of the youth.
You know what, though? That's one of the words that I use because it just, the emphasis of, like, you hearing it and it being sus, like, it just, there's just
what does
something
it even
about
mean?
it.
Like,
it's suspicious.
Oh, it's suspicious.
Yeah, so it's lazy for suspicious. But, you know, just, it gets the point across. Like, it's, like, you just were like, did you just say sus? Like, that's why I like it. There's a lot of other ones that are kind of stupid, but that one is like just saying it. What is it? Is it onomatopoeia, the ones that makes the sound? That's
like a 5th grade school word that it stayed in 5th grade. Come 6th grade, more words came in, and I'm like, I'll never use onomatopoeia because I can't even spell it. And I just let it come out the head. But anyway, while you're looking that up,
onomatopoeia,
we got thrown off by sus.
Yeah, it makes the sound. So to me, saying sus is like it's suspicious to say sus. So I'm just saying. Anyway,
you just don't want to be old. You want to point us down to, and you're old. And so at that particular point in time, I was considering getting on the dive rescue team here, and Robin was fighting me. She really didn't want me scuba diving anymore.
I still don't want him scuba diving.
And she says, well, let's see what the doctor says. And so he got done doing his complete checkup and everything. And I said, okay, doc. I said, will you clear me to scuba dive? And he said, with labs, and I quote, with labs like
that,
yours,
you can do whatever you want.
Anything you want.
It's exactly what he told us.
Your labs are amazing.
Yep.
I knew that. That's one thing everybody has always said. You know, for a fat guy, you got really good labs. And I actually kind of took a little bit of pride in that. I'm like, maybe fat, but I got great labs. Ha ha ha. But come to find out, I was being lied to.
Well, no, 6 months later, or less than 6 months later, you did another blood test.
They sent me for labs again, and then all of a sudden, I get a letter, not a phone call, but a letter in the mail that says I need to make a doctor's appointment now because my A1C, right? Right, was so high that I'm now diabetic.
That you're in danger of liver failure.
Yeah.
So essentially, you could be diabetic.
And I said, how is that?
That's sus.
Yeah, that's sus.
That is sus.
I said, because I want to get my labs redone. I said, because doctor's appointment not even less than 3 months ago, I was told I had amazing labs. Now all of a sudden I'm knocking on the door of having liver failure.
Yeah.
And so the nurse lady, whatever she was, she kind of got like snippy with me. And I just looked at Rob and I said, that's it. I'm done. I am done. We are going to take charge of our own health. Like, we were fighting with them to try to get me a new primary care doctor, and they were dragging their feet and blah, 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 and doing all these other things. And I got to the point, I said, look, call them. Tell them we'll go to the Athens DBOC, whatever it is, where we got... wherever we got racially discriminated against last time. I want a male doctor. I don't care.
And not her.
Yeah. Well,
whoever she was. Right. We didn't want her.
A male doctor. Mm-hmm. And let him know he has basically 2 jobs. Read my labs and keep up my acupuncture. Anything else, I'll take care of myself because I don't trust them anymore. At all. And so we're waiting now. We've been waiting for 2-3 months now for them to tell me where to go to get my labs done. That still hasn't been done. In the meantime, if I'm supposed to be getting close to liver failure, I'm probably, if it's legit, if I wouldn't have changed my diet and stuff, because it would have been type 2 diabetes. We all know type 2 diabetes is controlled by diet. So by changing everything that we changed, 9 times out of 10,
that's all gone.
That's all gone. And I've probably, whatever damage got done to my liver that was supposedly done has probably fixed itself.
Regenerated, yeah.
And stuff by now. And I'll be back to them going, well, I don't know what they're talking about. You got to make some labs.
Well, I think you hit the nail on the head when you had to go do your test this last, because A1C measures like the last 3 months. And in that 3-month period, we were on, we don't eat a lot of ice cream, but we were on a kick of eating ice cream like at least once a week. And so then, between that and then having all the bread, because you didn't have bread, and then all of a sudden you had to eat the bread in order to be able to do the test. Like, all of that fell in that 3-month time frame. And so I think it's a skewed result because it wasn't a normal time frame of what we normally eat. Because honestly, most of the time you don't eat a lot of stuff with sugar in it or carbohydrate. Like,
yeah, and that was one of the things I told the lady. I said, I don't understand how that's possible. If I drink tea, it's unsweet or it's unsweetened green tea. I have 1 cup of coffee in the morning and it has cream, my raw milk cream, no sugar. And I don't consume a lot of carbohydrates. I don't eat bread, I don't eat pastas, stuff like that.
We can't fry anything in the flour
because of the reaction that my body has to it. And so this, where we're at right now, boiled out of a lot of frustration, anger, and concern, because what if it was right, I still want to be able to walk my baby girls down the aisle. I still want to bounce my grandbabies on my knee and spoil the crap out of them, especially Blaze's kids.
Well, we've been fortunate. Like, we have a blood pressure cuff that the VA gave us, because some of the things they've given us along the way we've earned. But the blood pressure cuff we have, so we're able to monitor his blood pressure. We're kind of keeping an eye on everything, and he's been fine. His energy level has gone up through the roof. When
I first started, my blood pressure was 136/84. We got it written up there. Robin took it the other day. It was 116 over...
We're still in the 80s in the bottom, and I'm not sure. I don't know. In April, maybe you can help me out with this.
April or D, because Deanna's in there.
I don't know if she's still here. The bottom number was still in the 80s, which I know is still okay. But yeah, he's like at 116/82 or something like that. But I will tell you, I know that the VA is a pain in the butt. It is. But we are effectively learning how to navigate a bunch of it. And what I'm finding is that a lot of the times, if we really, like, especially for specialty care,
What did she say?
both are okay. Whenever you have to go to a specialty appointment, so like 116 is like teenager, yeah, and so that's the thing. So the thing that I'm finding is that with the community care aspect, if you have the VA benefits, okay, you're allowed to go into the community for specialty care, especially. Like, you can, specialty care, sometimes primary care, they really try to funnel you back to the VA. But, like, for specialty care, a lot of times they'll send you out into the community. And what I'm finding is that we're actually getting some fairly good community care situations. Like, with the exception of, like, the little hiccup with the hearing test, the overall care at the ear, nose, and throat people, it was good care. When there was something else that we went to. The digestive, like when we went to Athens.
I thought that was Anderson.
No, when you went to Athens for your endoscopy and your colonoscopy.
We've gotten really good medical care in Anderson, South Carolina with what is it called?
ANMED.
ANMED. And then the digestive place over in Athens. I absolutely love that guy.
Top rate.
You guys will be, when we get the fitness and health channel going, you guys were going to meet him personally, because I'm going to go, I'm going to hook up with him, and we're going to talk a little bit about digestive health and stuff for the stomach. He is
fantastic.
Super funny. He's absolutely hilarious. Like, if he couldn't be a doctor anymore, I'm pretty sure he can make it as a
stand-up comedian.
Comedian,
probably.
And so, but like I said, those type of doctors are few and far between anymore. And some of them, there's some medical professionals out there that are tired of it, and they're starting to speak out against it. But the bad thing is the backlash that they're getting. And so that's what kind of put Robin and I on this journey. Now I'm also, I actually, when I stepped on the scale after the gym today, it showed that I lost 20 pounds.
You're at 20, yeah.
But once I rehydrate a little bit and put some food in my belly, I'm more than that. I kind of feel like these last couple of pounds, these last couple of fat cells that are trying to hold on must have confessed their sins and accepted Jesus Christ as their Savior, and they have eternal life because them sons of bitches ain't dying.
Just said something.
They holding on for dear life.
It's after 9, so we're good.
I don't care what time it is. This is my channel. I got grown people in here. I'm not gonna sugarcoat anything.
Let's not, because otherwise they'll have diabetes.
That was good. They're holding on for dear life, But that's one of the things, and we're going to cover talking about hitting the wall on that channel and stuff. We're trying to figure out a good name for the channel, and because we're going to talk about whole health with it, not just diet and exercise. But we're going to talk about mental health, because that's not, especially for men. June is supposed to be Mental Health Month for men.
Oh, you poor guy! You have to share that with.
And now you got
LGBTQ plus.
That.
Juneteenth.
Over that, Juneteenth overshadowing that, and as much as the woke community is trying to castrate males and trying to say there's that toxic masculinity, but nobody wants to focus on male mental health.
Right.
But there's still that facade out there that a man can't talk about his problems. A man can't face.
You're weak if you do that.
His demons. A man, if he lets it known that he's hurt or he's just having a bad day, well then he's weak. So which way is it gonna be? You know? And so we're gonna talk a lot about that kind of stuff over there, because I have come to my end of the rope with that. And just like how we started our homesteading journey, when I started learning about how broken our food system is and how you control the food, you can control the masses, and I realized I'm not the type of person to be controlled. And we started this, and then when we started learning and we started sharing, we're going to be doing the same thing with that other channel. Now, I know that channel may not be for some of y'all. Y'all may not be there. And I get it. I understand it. I'm not going to hate on you. I'm still going to come over here on the Big Bear Homestead, and we're still going to love on you, and we're still going to try to help you grow good, clean vegetables and good, clean food. But we can no longer ignore the fact that the stuff that's in our grocery stores is designed, and I'm using that word, designed, to get you sick.
And to keep us hungry. There's your channel name. Control your food and control your masses. Getting bear healthy. Yeah, I mean, we definitely noticed a good example of this, and I made the comment. Saturday, we did not sleep well Friday night. So Saturday we were kind of dragging butt, and we had almost made the decision we weren't going to go down to the superhero thing. We got up late because we kind of slept in a little bit, so we didn't have breakfast. Our lunch consisted of basically a salad with a lot of vegetables and a little bit of turkey. Okay, so not much protein, no carbs to fill us up, none of that. So then we drove down there. We had about a bag and a half, not the big bags, like a little snack bag of pork rinds between the two of us. That was it. We got down there, still waited because we were deciding whether or not we should eat. And I was like, look, it's going to get hot. Even if we're inside, we're going to be hot. Stomachs are going to start turning, and we just don't need that. So we'll just deal with it. So we did not eat anything except for those pork rinds. We did hydrate a lot. We drank a lot of fluids, a lot of water. But what I noticed, because we've been working out for almost 2 months now, that I did not get overly tired, like overly exerted or anything. The only problem I had was my costume had a full spandex, like it zipped up in the back and came up over my face, like Spider-Man, and only had little eyeballs cut out. Like there wasn't even anything for the mouth. But of course it's spandex, you can breathe through it. But I had to adjust to that, and then I had a full foam mask, helmet, like completely enclosed.
She was the sexiest Black Panther.
Black Panther. It was so much
ever.
fun. But one of the things I was telling Jason is a lot of times I don't want to do the superhero things because I'm overweight. I am not, and some of the women's costumes are either show quite a bit of skin, or they are spandex and they're very form-fitting, and I just look like a disgusting slob, and
not anymore.
I didn't want to wear them. Well, what he started doing was offering me some of the men's costumes that are the big puffy costumes, because I'm sure he knew that I felt uncomfortable wearing the other stuff. So at least with that, I could kind of hide, behind it. Like I was doing Thor for a while, and I had a really good time doing that, but it's a lot to carry all that around. So on Saturday, I he gave me the option of one that was kind of a puffy costume, and then the other one, he's like, well, I've got Black Panther. And I looked and I was like, isn't that one the spandex? And he's like, yeah. And I'm like, let me try that one on and see what it looks like. And it's pretty good. Now, I still have my little, mom pouch, but it had a belt, and so the belt kind of took away
But
from
you've
that.
lost about 15 pounds, right?
I don't know. I really haven't kept up with the numbers. And I haven't taken any pictures, so I'm not really sure. And again, I don't really care how much I lose. I can see the proof is in the pudding, because by the time we got done, I should have been. And then I walked back to the car. We had to park way out. And I had to walk back to the car twice to go get stuff and come back. And I was not out of breath. I wasn't. The only thing was my legs were hurting, but that was because we had worked legs the day before. And so, other than that, I felt fantastic. And it was 9 o'clock at night. And we maybe had 4 or 5 hours of sleep when we're averaging 7 or 8. And so that, to me, the proof is in the pudding there. And then we ate dinner and, and then we came home and we were good to go. So I think.
Well, let me tell. I'll tell you how much this has changed us, and it's all mental. Robin used to, when we went and we worked out, and Saturday before we went and did some cardio. Robin would have justified, we stopped at one point and got waters to drink, or
that's when we got the
pork rinds
and water.
And the waters.
Or no, we got body armor drinks or whatever.
Yeah,
I got a Monster.
0 calorie or 0 sugar stuff.
I got a Monster that had 25 calories, and it was supposed to be a recovery because I really was, we had worked out crazy the day before. Yeah. So.
Normally, Robin would have said, I've just burnt 200 calories on the treadmill. I'm going to go ahead and have this cherry Coke. Mm-hmm. I just burnt 300 calories on the bicycle. I'm going to go ahead and grab this and that. And because you start going, wait a minute, this bag of peanut M&Ms, that's, for me to take 5 minutes and consume this bag, that's 45 minutes.
On the treadmill.
Yeah. At a 1.5 incline at 4.2. And so you really start going, it's just not worth it. And the change is when you start doing it the right way.
Well, and I'll tell you, the other one is Jason, he struggled, but he came out on top of it. We were at a movie theater, y'all.
The smell.
They had popcorn
of
everywhere.
Popcorn. Look,
Poor
movie
Jason.
theater popcorn is my crack.
It is his crack.
I probably should go to a 12-step program
just for popcorn.
Just for buttered popcorn at a movie theater. And it was rough. Mm-hmm. I told Robin, I said, I don't know if I can stay out here much longer. Just the smell of it is driving me insane.
But what is cool is that we both kind of pushed that aside and we thought about it. It was it's not worth it, because it's just like Lone Star was saying, you'll eat it and then you're still hungry. Mm-hmm. It doesn't, I didn't go to see that Horizon Saga movie because of that exact reason. Yeah, and so what we're learning is there are so many different things. And now one of the frustrating things, because when we got done, obviously we were hungry, and the only place that was open after 9 o'clock was Waffle House. And Jason and I are both, scattered, smothered, covered kind of people.
Don't forget chopped and topped, baby.
Chopped and topped. Anyway, capped. Anyway, so we both went in there, and I kind of looked at the menu, and I was like, look, I want my chicken melt. I just don't want the bread. And Jason was like, wait, really? Because he was expecting me to be like, look, I just burnt however many calories sitting in that suit, walking around, sweating my butt off. I deserve bread, you know, and I didn't.
Yeah, we
I
pretty
just-
much did an a la carte kind of thing at Waffle House, and then we were still. It didn't really even touch it, and so we literally went and we picked up some things at Walmart. I'm not going to tell you where they were because it's the stuff that we're going to.
It's content.
sharing.
Things we're going to be sharing.
Over there, it was just really simple, really easy, and it filled us up, and it was super low on calories. But I was gonna say something else
Before we leave.
before we leave, but I forgot what it was.
I don't know. Little secondhand smoke with your meal. You know, all the places we've been to, if they smoke,
They make them go way.
they're way out of the building. Like, they go all the way to the dumpster. They don't sit by the... And I remember back in the day, you know, maybe 10 years ago, they would sit right out on the front
right
porch.
by
But
the door. But enough people raised Cain.
yeah, that nowadays they go back to the dumpsters for that. So...
Okay, y'all. Well, we've been on a little over an hour, and we still gotta eat dinner. We only have
finish the rest of our dinner.
a little bit of an appetizer here with that flatbread that we
Yep.
showed you guys in the beginning. If you haven't seen the long video that's been out about subsoil,
Definitely
please-
check it out.
please go check it out. I'm very interested to hear y'all's thoughts on those videos. And here pretty soon, the next steps are going to come. It's pretty going to be like three or four steps in one video because they're just real quick. Of how we took our very hard compacted subsoil and we kind of started the process of regenerating it, turning it into more loofy soil
Loamy.
be able to plant in, and just that little bit we did with just the green manure and
Made a
all of the
big
stuff that was
difference.
still kind of stuck on that top from chickens, pigs, cows getting turned over. Has really given us helped us through this drought, in my opinion, with our garden the way it is, and it's only going to get better from here.
Lone Star said Walmart sells chomps now. They're a clean meat snack. We've seen those. I think Aldi has those too, where they have some variation of that. We saw it. Subsoiler video was great. Wasn't expecting it to be so short. I was like, what is that? Or was that it? Well, what else were you expecting from it? I guess my question.
I bet he's looking.
He's
for
looking for the other stuff
The
that
other
we're
stuff
going to
that's
do.
coming.
See, we had to break it down because it could have been a 30-minute video if we did everything.
Well, I felt that implement and not explaining exactly what the subsoil
What it is,
was,
yeah.
what it is, and why it's important, was important enough for it to have its own. What was it, like an 8-minute video?
6.5, somewhere around
So,
there.
yeah.
We like to kind of get
Right.
to the point now. Yeah.
And it was one of those that I felt like if we would have included, if we would have done one big video, I was afraid that portion, which is in my opinion the most important portion of this little 2-video series, would have gotten lost.
Yeah.
Because this is one of those, you know, Robin always said that if you understand the why, the rest of the stuff falls into place, and then if something happens because you understand the why, you can figure it out and go from there. And I
Yeah.
felt like knowing the why to this
Was
with
more
this one implement was
super
important, because if you didn't use this one implement first,
Right.
these other ones that are coming behind it was kind of just like
Right.
urinating into the wind.
Well, and the thing is that, you know, we've been doing stuff for a while now. And, you know, I saw a video that I think it was Zach, and a lot of other people have said this, is like sometimes with your content creators, they don't show you everything. They don't show you, some of the stuff that they do that they may not want you to know that they do, or things that happen, or failures that you don't know about. And, for the longest time, we were under the impression, with all of the information that's out there, that, running your pigs through, running your cows, your chickens through, like, that's enough. That's what you need to do. And
the reality was, it's not.
Reality is when we sat down and talked to somebody who's been doing it much longer than we have, and has had, several different pieces of equipment available at his disposal.
I mean, different pieces of property and different levels of...
Yeah, of use. They were able to look at us and say, oh, no, you need this. Like, Jay was able to look at our soil fairly quickly and be like, I can tell you exactly what's going on.
You're too compacted.
When was the last time you did anything with this land? We're like, we've been here for 11 years and we've never done that. And he's like, yeah, there's your problem. And so, generally speaking, in this genre, most people don't know about it or talk about it. And so we figured we needed to share it with everybody. I mean, that's what we've always done. If we find out something that we didn't know, that we're pretty sure that nobody else knows about, we want to make sure that you guys know what we've learned. And so that was one of those videos. So, yeah. So I'm excited to do the rest of it. Pretty sure my land needs that piece of black land. I don't know what black land means, but yeah, and it's not a super expensive piece of equipment. Mineral rich clay, but compacted and becomes hard as a rock. That's exactly
what you need. You need to come on down and talk to Jay and get some of this stuff, and just you would be.
We couldn't believe the difference.
We were, once we got to the final step and started seeing it, we were over the moon.
Well, and the proof again is in the pudding. Look at the stuff that's behind, because when we originally shot the video, we did it as we were doing everything, so that's where all of that B-roll is coming from. But the problem was, like Jason said before, is the cicadas were so loud that we couldn't salvage the audio, so we had to reshoot it. And I'm actually kind of glad we did, because we were able to kind of just level out what points were important, so that we didn't turn it into a 15-minute video when you only needed 6 minutes worth of information.
At first, it was more looking along the lines of kind of almost like a product review video, and
that's not what
now being done all of the steps and seeing what happens. Now it needs to be more of an informative
why,
and more evergreen informative why you need to do this. And pretty much probably every homestead that's out there, whether they want to admit it or not, probably has this issue. Because even people that are buying raw land and going there, it's been raped of its topsoil and everything is compacted. Nowadays, unless you just bought a big chunk of forest that had deciduous trees on it, and you have years upon years of leaf mold and leaf matter breaking down and holding everything.
Well, and that's why you have the Charles Downings, like, no till, no till. Well, of course it's no till, because they're going 12 inches. Like, that's the thing that I maybe we didn't convey in that, and I think we touched on it, is that your hard pan is like 12 to 18 inches below the surface. And so when you have these people doing lasagna gardens, or the no-till stuff, which is not really no-till, he still moves that stuff around. But he's not going deep into the dirt. He's created that 12 to 18 inches. So he knows where it is. So the principle is still the same. When you get to that 12 to 18 inch depth, you got to shake it up every once in a while. Otherwise, it's going to stay compacted. And I think one of the things we're going to try to do to avoid some of that compaction is, I think, late winter. And we may do this in waves, but I think I'm going to get daikon seed. And I think we're going to plant daikons, because daikons grow deep. They grow at least that 12 inches. So we would be able to keep some of that hard pan from getting compacted by keeping stuff planted in it that's going to continue to bust it up.
I'm down with that.
So we may try that.
And once they get to a point, we just bring the pigs in
and let them tear it up.
Because I want to get some guinea hogs again. Mm-hmm. And we can just keep them in there.
Yeah. So another, thing to think about this winter to be looking for is something we will try. And we may put, like, if we don't have guinea hogs, we might put the smaller pigs in there so that they can, move
and
that
look,
around.
We're going to be, now that we have these implements, we're really going to be John Seymour's suggestion, his plan, his blueprint for how to be self-reliant on a 5-acre homestead. We're going to be putting a lot of that into play over the next couple of years, and we're going to be doing it with old people in mind.
Right. Yeah.
So, all right, we got to get out of here. Robin's giving me the stink eye because she's hungry and I'm hungry too. Thank you guys for coming and hanging out with us for almost 2 hours tonight. We appreciate y'all. Thanks for people that we haven't seen in a while. It was nice to see the number get up close to 9. Mm-hmm. We really would like to start to see this number grow. So if you guys could, please kind of talk it up, share it up. Let everybody know when we go live. Don't forget, members Thursday. We're going to be doing your live stream.
Yes.
We may be doing it how we did it this last week because of what we talked about, or we may go ahead and jump on early and you guys can
watch it on the
catch the replay
yeah.
when you guys get that opportunity. Thanks again for coming and hanging out with us, even though you crazy paratroopers that come in like
as we're saying
super
goodbye.
Late. I mean, hey, just show up
when you want to.
We love y'all, and we will see you guys next week. Don't forget to go check out that video and leave us a comment and tell me what you guys think about that video about the subsoil.
Yes.
Y'all have a great week. We love y'all, and God bless. This is just me taking up some time for the end screen. I cannot believe that Palmetto Paratrooper came in so tardy. But that's
Army guy.
just like the Army, boy. Y'all just show up really, really late for things. And so that's about 20 seconds right there, I guess. So I love you, Billy. It was nice to see you come in there, even though you was really late, like always. And I hope things are going great out there for y'all. I can't wait till you come back